We bought a rig just last week down in Tulsa, the leather seats, but we forgot the map was old, and now we're lost, ain't that so bold? The toilet's blocked, don't you frown, spilling waste all over town. The engine sputters, ain't she sweet? This RV life's one big treat. Say hello to hidden trees, say goodbye to towing fees, knocking pipes, leaky roof, under stars, we're waterproof.
All right, everyone, get ready, because today we're going deep into sustainable RV travel. We're talking about exploring the open road and keeping the planet happy at the same time.
It's all about finding that balance, where you can have adventures but still be responsible.
Exactly. And we've got a fantastic guide for this deep dive. It's an article called The RVers Guide to Sustainable Travel. Leave no trace, take only memories. What comes to mind when you think about making RV trips more eco-friendly?
For me, it goes beyond just like reducing our impact. It's about actually making the places we visit healthier so future generations can enjoy them too.
I love that perspective. It's like we're becoming caretakers of these places as we travel through them.
Right, and it all starts before you even hit the road. Choosing the right destination and campground can make a huge difference for the whole travel ecosystem.
So it's not just about pretty scenery then, right? What should we look for in a campground to make sure it's eco-conscious?
Look for places that are actively promoting sustainable practices. Like maybe they have solar-powered facilities or good recycling programs. Or even better, they partner with local conservation groups. Supporting businesses like that sends a powerful message, and it encourages others to adopt those same practices.
It's like we're using our spending power to support the kind of world we want to travel in. So what about our RVs themselves? How can we make our RVs more eco-friendly before we even start the trip?
Solar power is a game changer. And I don't just mean putting a panel on your roof. There are so many new solar systems designed for RVs these days. You can really reduce your reliance on traditional power sources and probably save some money too.
Wow, that's a lot more than I was thinking about. Can you tell me more about those advanced solar systems? Like what kind of setups are out there?
Well, it all depends on your needs and your budget, of course. You could go all out with panels covering your whole roof and a big battery bank. Or you could start smaller with a portable panel just to charge your devices. There are even flexible panels now that can fit on curved surfaces of your RV.
Wow, technology is really changing the game for sustainable RVing. What else can we do to prep our rigs for eco-friendly adventures?
Don't forget about conserving water. Installing low-flow shower heads and faucets is a great place to start. And I'm not talking about those old ones with no water pressure. There are brands like Oxygenics and Camco that offer high-pressure, low-flow options. So you can save water and still have a luxurious shower.
Okay, that sounds like a good deal. Nobody wants a bad shower on vacation. What about when you're boondocking and want to be extra careful with water?
That's where gray water systems can be really helpful. They let you reuse water from your sinks and shower for things like flushing the toilet or watering plants. It's a bit more of an investment up front, but if you're serious about off-grid living, it's worth it.
I'm realizing that sustainable RVing isn't just about good intentions, it's about using technology and innovation too. So let's say we've got our solar panels running our low-flow fixtures in place and we're ready to hit the road. What are some key practices to keep in mind once we're actually traveling?
This is where the leave no trace principles really come into play. And the first one is all about waste management. We're talking about going beyond just throwing everything in the trash.
So like separating our recyclables, finding the right places to dispose of things. What about composting? Is that even possible on the road?
Absolutely. There are all kinds of compact composting systems made just for RVs. They're designed to be odor-free, so you don't have to worry about smells. Some can even handle food scraps, pet waste, and compostable toilet paper.
Wait, hold on. Compostable toilet paper? Tell me more about that.
It's becoming more and more popular, especially among eco-conscious travelers. Brands like Tushy and Who Gives a Crap make biodegradable options. They break down easily in composting systems.
Wow, I'm learning so much already. This deep dive is really living up to its name. What other leave no trace tips do you have for when we're on the road?
Water conservation is still super important. We talked about low-flow fixtures, but it's also about our habits. Taking shorter showers, washing dishes in a basin, even collecting rainwater for things like watering plants. All those little things can make a big difference.
It's amazing how those small choices can add up. What about energy use while we're driving?
Your solar panels will be your best friend here. If you can maximize their efficiency, you won't need to run your generator as much. That saves fuel and reduces noise pollution. And if you do need to use the generator, try to use a fuel-efficient model and maybe run it during off-peak hours to lessen the impact on the grid.
So it's about being smart about how we use energy even when we're on the move. Now, I know a lot of people think of RV travel as being out in nature and beautiful landscapes. How can we make sure we're respecting those environments while we're exploring them?
The leave no trace principles give us some great guidelines. Sticking to established trails and campsites helps prevent damage to fragile ecosystems. Observing wildlife from a distance means we don't disturb their natural behaviors. And always pack out everything you pack in. That keeps those places clean for everyone to enjoy.
Those might seem like common sense things, but it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new place and forget the basics. What are some things people might overlook when it comes to respecting the environment?
One common mistake is trampling on delicate plants, especially in places like deserts or alpine meadows. Even walking off trail to get a better picture can cause damage that lasts a long time. And speaking of deserts, let's talk about cryptobiotic soil crusts for a minute.
Cryptobiotic what now? I have to admit, I've never heard of that.
They're these amazing communities of organisms that form a crust on the soil surface, especially in dry regions. They're really important for preventing erosion and supporting the desert ecosystem. But they're incredibly fragile. Even one footstep can crush them, and it can take years for them to recover.
Wow, I had no idea. So sticking to the trails is important not just for our safety, but for the health of these hidden ecosystems. What about campfires? I know they're a big part of the RV camping experience, but they can also have an impact on the environment.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to use existing fire rings. They help contain the fire and prevent the ground from getting scorched. And when you're collecting firewood, make sure you're doing it responsibly, like only gathering dead wood and avoiding areas where it's prohibited.
So we can enjoy a campfire without leaving a trace. Now let's talk about the human side of sustainable RV travel. I'm talking about those small towns and communities we often visit on our trips. How can we engage with those places in a way that supports sustainable travel?
It's about going beyond the typical tourist spots and really getting to know the local culture. Think about trying those farm-to-table restaurants that use local ingredients, or checking out artisan shops for unique handcrafted souvenirs.
So we're supporting businesses that care about their communities. Are there other ways we can make a positive impact besides how we spend our money?
Definitely. Volunteering is a great way to give back to the places you visit. Lots of campgrounds and local organizations need help with things like trail maintenance or habitat restoration projects. You could even help with educational programs.
That's a great idea. It's like turning your vacation into a chance to really make a difference. You're not just seeing the sights, you're actually helping to keep those places healthy and vibrant. Speaking of helping, I want to talk about something that's important to me. Teaching the next generation about sustainable travel. How can we make sure these practices become a natural part of how everyone travels in the future?
It all starts with setting a good example. When kids see their parents making eco-friendly choices, it makes a big impact. But we can also make it fun for them. Turn recycling into a game. Challenge them to find the coolest recycled item at a thrift store. Or create a nature scavenger hunt where they can learn about local plants and animals.
I can already imagine my kids getting excited about composting, trying to figure out all the different creatures helping to break down the food scraps. Now, what about our furry travel buddies? How can we make sure our pets are part of the sustainable travel equation too?
Being a responsible pet owner is key. That means following leash laws to protect both your pet and wildlife. Always cleaning up after your pet. And being mindful of noise levels, especially in campgrounds or natural areas.
So it's about extending that respect and responsibility to our pets as well. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, the leave no trace principles. You've talked about them throughout our conversation, but I'd love to break them down a bit more for our listeners. Can you give us a quick overview of these 7 principles?
Absolutely. The first one is plan ahead and prepare. That means doing your research about your destination, understanding the local rules, packing the right gear, and considering the size of your group. It's all about minimizing your impact before you even arrive.
So it's about being proactive and prepared. What's the next principle?
Principle number 2 is travel and camp on durable surfaces. This encourages sticking to established trails and campsites, using existing fire rings, and avoiding trampling delicate plants. Remember those cryptobiotic soil crusts we talked about earlier? This principle is all about protecting those sensitive areas.
Right. It's about respecting the land and minimizing our physical footprint. What about waste? That seems like a big one, especially when you're living in a smaller space like an RV.
You're right. Waste is a big one. And that's where principle number 3 comes in. Dispose of waste properly. This means packing out all your trash, leftover food, and even biodegradable things like fruit peels. We need to be responsible for everything we bring into a natural space.
So even if something can technically compost, we should still pack it out if there aren't composting facilities available.
Exactly. We don't want to leave anything behind that could harm the ecosystem or just look messy. And this principle also includes properly disposing of human waste, whether that's using designated toilets or digging cathols.
Okay, getting a little bit real there, but it's important stuff to talk about. What about campfires? They're such a classic part of the RV camping experience.
Definitely. And that's why the fourth principle is minimize campfire impacts. This means using existing fire rings or fire pans, keeping fires small and manageable, and burning all the wood and coals to ash before you leave.
No stray embers or half-burned logs. What's the fifth principle all about?
Leave what you find. This one is all about resisting the urge to take things from nature, like picking wildflowers, collecting rocks or shells, or disturbing any natural or cultural artifacts. It's about appreciating the beauty without taking anything away from it.
It's about being a respectful visitor, leaving things as we found them for others to enjoy. What about our interactions with wildlife?
That's the focus of the sixth principle, respect wildlife. This means observing animals from a distance, never feeding them, storing food properly so they're not attracted to it, and keeping pets under control so they don't chase or harass wildlife.
It's a good reminder that we're sharing these spaces with other living creatures.
Exactly. And finally, the seventh principle is be considerate of other visitors. This means keeping noise levels down, being aware of our surroundings, yielding to others on trails, and basically just creating a positive atmosphere for everyone.
So it's about extending that respect and mindfulness to our fellow humans as well. These principles are all connected, aren't they? It's like a holistic approach to being responsible in the outdoors.
They are. And the best part is they apply to all kinds of outdoor activities, not just RVing.
This has been such a helpful breakdown of the leave no trace principles. I feel like I have a much better understanding of how to apply them to my own adventures.
That's great to hear. Remember, it's all about making conscious choices and trying to minimize our impact, one step at a time.
Speaking of steps, I think it's time to take the next step in our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from prepping our RVs to engaging with local communities and embracing those leave no trace principles. But I'm curious, what are some common misconceptions people have about sustainable RV travel?
One big misconception is that it has to be expensive or inconvenient. People think they need to buy all new gear, change their whole lifestyle, and give up comfort just to be eco-friendly.
Yeah, I can see how that might scare some people off, but is that really true?
Not at all. Sustainable RV travel is really about finding small, manageable changes, things that fit your lifestyle and your budget.
Yeah.
It's about making conscious choices, not making drastic changes.
So it's about starting where you are and gradually incorporating those practices.
Exactly. And the truth is, a lot of sustainable choices actually save you money in the long run. Like those solar panels we talked about. The initial cost might seem high, but over time you'll save on fuel and campground fees.
And saving money is always a good thing, especially on vacation. What about the idea that sustainable travel means giving up comfort or convenience?
That's another myth I'd love to bust. Sustainable travel isn't about roughing it or giving up the things you enjoy. It's about finding ways to enjoy those things in a more responsible way.
So it's not about deprivation, it's about making choices that align with our values.
Exactly. And often those choices lead to richer, more rewarding experiences. Think about staying at an eco-conscious campground that focuses on preserving the natural beauty. You probably have more privacy, quieter nights, and a stronger connection to the environment, compared to a crowded commercial campground.
It's like trading superficial amenities for a deeper sense of peace.
Precisely. And don't forget the feeling of satisfaction you get from knowing you're traveling in a way that's good for the planet. A sense of purpose can be really powerful.
I'm realizing that sustainable travel isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about making our own lives better, too. It's about finding that balance between personal fulfillment and environmental responsibility.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This deep dive has been full of surprises and insights. We've learned about making our RVs more eco-friendly, the importance of community engagement, and we've debunked some common myths about this whole movement. But before we finish up, I want to talk about one more important aspect of sustainable RV travel: responsible waste management. It's a topic that can feel a bit overwhelming, especially when you're living a mobile lifestyle. So let's talk trash. I think a lot of us have that out of sight, out of mind thing going on when it comes to garbage. But when you're living in an RV, waste management becomes a real issue.
Yeah, you can't just ignore it when you're in a smaller space. But it doesn't have to be a huge problem either. The key is to be proactive and think about reducing waste from the start.
Okay, so before we even get to trash bags and recycling bins, we need to be careful about what we're bringing into our RVs in the first place. How can we be more thoughtful shoppers when we're on the road?
Think about those grocery store trips. Are you grabbing individually packaged snacks, or are you buying things in bulk? Can you bring your own reusable containers instead of using plastic bags? What about switching from single-use water bottles to a reusable water filter or a stainless steel bottle? Those little changes can really cut down on packaging waste.
It's amazing how those small choices can make a difference, but even if we're careful, there's still going to be some trash. What's the best way to handle recycling when you're traveling?
Planning is key. Before you leave, map out your route and look for campgrounds or towns that have recycling services. A lot of campgrounds have recycling bins, and some towns have special drop-off centers for things like glass or electronics.
So it's like planning little recycling stops along the way. What about composting? We talked about it earlier, but how does it actually work in an RV?
Composting on the road might seem tricky, but it's getting easier all the time. There are these compact composting systems made just for RVs and boats. Some use worms to break down food scraps. Others use a mix of air and moisture. You can even get composting toilets that turn waste into fertilizer.
Wow, that's taking things to the next level. It's great that technology is making these eco-friendly options possible for RVers. But let's be honest, even with composting and recycling, there's still going to be some trash. How do we get rid of it responsibly, especially when we're boondocking or in remote areas?
The most important thing is to pack it in, pack it out. Use designated trash cans whenever you can. And if you're in an area without trash services, you need to be ready to carry your trash with you until you find a proper place to dispose of it.
So we're responsible for our trash no matter where we are. It's not about just throwing it away and forgetting about it.
Exactly. It's about changing our mindset. We need to see waste as a resource, something we can reduce, reuse, recycle, or compost. It's about creating a closed loop, a more circular economy, even when we're on the road.
This conversation has really changed how I think about waste. I'm seeing it in a whole new way, not as something to throw away, but as something to manage carefully. And you know what? It actually feels good to be doing something positive.
That's the best part about sustainable living. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Every step we take, no matter how small, makes a difference.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've covered so much about greening our RVs, the leave no trace principles, finding ways to manage waste. We even talked about the bigger picture of sustainable travel. But before we go, I want to ask you one more thing. What's your advice for someone who's just starting to think about sustainable RV travel?
Don't get hung up on being perfect. Sustainable travel is a journey. It's not about reaching some end goal. Start with one small change, something you can easily do, and go from there. Maybe you switch to a reusable water bottle, or you start looking for eco-conscious campgrounds. The important thing is to take action, even if it seems small. Every choice we make counts.
I love that. It's progress, not perfection. And those small steps really do add up. So to all our listeners out there, as you head out on your next RV adventure, remember that sustainable travel isn't just about protecting our planet. It's about making our own lives richer, too.
It's about finding that balance between adventure and responsibility, exploring new places while taking care of them, and creating memories that will last a lifetime while leaving a positive impact for the future.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into sustainable RV travel. We hope you're feeling inspired to hit the open road with a new sense of purpose and a commitment to exploring our world in a responsible way. Until next time, happy travels.